Hi everyone, this is Head Harvester Ed LaFlamme from the East Coast. I wonder where Head Harvester Bill is. Has anybody seen him? Last week we talked about why you have to hold people accountable, right? We went through all the different reasons, mainly the micromanaging to stop that and the ignoring the bad conduct and how it ruins the company culture. We went into that in detail. This week we're going to talk about how you hold them accountable. You can do this by 4 words, just 4 words, okay? It's what, why, how, and when. Let me explain. The first one would be what. You have to tell them what has to be done. And it's got to be clear. So the expectations have to be very clear, exactly what has to be done. If they have clear direction, then they understand and they'll be motivated to do it. You have to tell them, for example, are they going to be working with others? Or going to do this project by themselves? Will it require any particular type of tools, equipment, or resources? That's important. Or what can possibly go wrong? And if it does happen, they know what to do. Explain the why it's important. Everybody wants to know why it needs to be done. Then they feel purpose, okay? Then explain how. Of course, how will it be done? Are there particular tools that are needed? How it's going to benefit the organization, or perhaps it'll benefit the customer instead. That's the how. Then when, very important. When does it have to be done? When does it have to be completed? Okay. Once they understand that, they're going to pace themselves to make sure they get it done in that amount of time. Now, what's really key is you involve them in this plan. Okay. Don't set a plan of how long it's going to take and when is it going to be done, why it's going to be done, without involving them in the plan. Then that way they feel they're part of it and that they own it. And you won't have to hold them accountable because they're going to want to hold themselves accountable. Okay? The key is to make sure they understand and they're in agreement with what they're going to be doing, no matter what it is. If it's a task outside they have to do, if it's planting trees or something in your office. Doesn't matter, okay? Lastly, and the most important, this is key, and this avoids that micromanagement that goes on so many companies, okay? Who's going to check in with who? Are you going to check in with them, or are they going to check in with you? The other thing is, how often? Is it going to be at noontime and at the end of the day? Is it going to be just the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month? You know, exactly how often is going to be a check-in and who's going to check in with who, all right? Then that's important. The other thing, it could be a milestone. When a certain amount of work is done, check in with me, okay? And that could be, again, a project on the outside, if they're planting or if they're mowing, whatever it is, or it could be something in the office, a task that one of the office people have to do. So when they get a certain amount of work done, they check back with you, okay? Then there's clarity. And then if they're going to check back with you, you don't have to worry unless they're not checking back, okay? All right, let's review. So just remember, it's 4 key words. It's the what, how, when, and why, okay? Once you have those explained to the person, they're going to understand exactly what they have to do. There's going to be clarity in all of these. In that way, they're going to move forward as you agreed. Okay, one thing you could do as a boss, okay, or a manager, is you could send them back a quick email, especially if it's like in the office. You can send them back a quick email summarizing what you said, what those 4 points were. Okay, if you do this and teach this to your managers and they teach it to the people to report to them, this will then breed a culture, a positive culture in the organization. And you won't really have to hold people accountable because they already know what's got to be done unless they're not doing their jobs. Of course, if they're not doing the jobs, then you need to hold them accountable. But remember, you've got all the points. So then it's going to just be excuses on their part. And if they're not doing their jobs, well, that's a whole different video. Hey, before we close, why don't we go check and see what Harvester Bill's up to?
Hey Bill, did you see last week's Friday video?
No.
Well, it's all about holding people accountable. So Harvester Ed says that I need to start holding you accountable.
Really? Well, you tell Harvester Ed I am accountable. I'm watching golf all afternoon. See ya, Harvester Ed.